Blender for Noobs.
Hello, this is Dan Nobles and welcome to Blender for Noobs, and welcome back to the tutorial on designing your own car. And this part 11, we'll be looking at completing some of the detail work on the car. In the last video, you've seen me kind of do speed adjustments on the car. And one of the things that I did was I decided to use proportional editing and squat the car down a little bit, make it look a little bit more sleek, and I think it kind of helped the look of the car. I don't know, maybe I'm kind of strange, but I think it looks a little bit better. But the way that I did that is I just went into edit mode. I selected this area right here, came down in here and turned on enabled proportional editing. And then if you scale, hit S, you'll get this circle, and if you mouse wheel back and forth, you can change how much, how big this circle of influence is. Like if you make it really small, it's going to actually just scale that whole area without considering the things around it very much. But if you make it very large, you know, it's going to take more of the car into consideration when you start scaling. So that's something to play around with. I'm going to turn that off and deselect all that and go back to the car. And let's go ahead and do a save as. And I'm going to make this part 11. And I'm just going to call this details and save that. Okay. And then one of the things that I'm going to do here is just give it some fake disc brakes here, or at least the discs themselves, the rotors. So we'll have something behind there. And probably an easy way to do this, you probably wouldn't want to do this normally, but I'm just going to select the tire here and tack it onto the tire. So that way we only have to do this and duplicate it once. Shift A, choose mesh, and I'm just going to choose the cylinder. Go into the T menu and check my settings here, see what I have the cylinder set at. And that's probably too much, but move it down to 16. And cap fill type, N-Gon is fine here. So I'm just going to basically make the cylinder itself. Okay, so we're going to do a rotate RY 90, enter. And go into 3 side view, and we'll just move this into view here. So right about there, need to move it over. And scale it down a little bit, about the size of a rotor. And SX, scale it down like so. So something like that. It's just going to sit behind the wheel like that. And I mean, we could get into a lot more detail as far as adding disc brakes and all that, but that's really beyond the scope of this tutorial. So I thought that that would mirror that because I thought I still had the mirror, but evidently I do have the mirror on the tire. I guess I did not go into edit mode on that. So I can always select this and shift select that. Actually, I want to shift select the tire at the last, since that's the one with a mirror. And Control J will join those two. And once you join it, it will mirror it. We need to duplicate that. And, oops, you can just X delete the tire, Shift D. Being kind of lazy here. Oh, wrong one. X delete that. Just want the tire, Shift D. And put it into place there. Okay, and then of course you wouldn't have rotors back here on the back like the front, but anyway, that's the way it is on my car. my strange, bizarre, self-designed car. Another thing that I thought about when looking at the fender is I want this to kind of bevel up. So I'm going to select these, do something like this, maybe even bring it out some more. Shift select those, bring those up a little bit, and those up just slightly. See how that looks. And now, of course, I got to bring that out a little bit because it's too far in. Alt select this edge loop, alt select that edge loop. It's not getting that part of it for some reason. Okay. Control 7 bottom view, and just going to pull this out a little bit. See what it looks like over here. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, I think that's probably enough. Although I'm still wanting to bring this up some. What I'm trying to do is kind of like, get that curve into that fender there a little bit if I can. Something like that, I guess. And then probably going to put like just some, make a cube and put some grill items, just lines in here. In fact, I can go ahead and do that real quick. Shift A on a cube. Bring it out where we can work on this thing. And select faces. I don't need this back face. X delete faces. And select this. L select the whole thing. Go one front view. And just going to bring it down here. SX to scale on the X. SZ. Scale it down like so. Go control up arrow, full screen. SX. Move it a little bit this way. Move it up into position a little bit. SZ, scale it down. And at this point I'm really just looking at the outline of the cube to see how big this really is going to be. SX, make it a little bit longer. I want to come out to the edge, or maybe even actually go into the frame or the body of the car. And then SY to scale it down quite a bit. Don't need it to be that big. And then move it forward. And probably will have to bend this because of the curving there. That's okay, we can do that. So Control R and just going to put a couple of edge loops in there. And go to vertex select. And let's go ahead and L select this again. Let's bring it out a little bit. Choose occlude here, get a better view of it. Okay, so I just want it pressed in there just a little bit. And then I'm going to alt select this one. Just kind of try to match that a little bit. Alt select this one, bring it in, and Alt select this one. Why is that not selecting that? I'm not sure. But anyway, Shift Alt select the rest of it. Let's somehow duplicate this thing. Not sure what it's doing here. Or why it is doing that. Delete edge loop. Delete edge loop. I think I actually do have two of them somehow. So what I'm going to do, let me L select this and go into the tool menu, T into the tool menu, and I'm just going to select, actually no, let's just do the W specials menu, and I'm going to shade smooth, and also add some edge loops. So Control R, I want to add one right there out towards the edge, and Control R, add two in here like so. That'll give it some definition, and I need to adjust these a little bit. So just going to grab these right here, pull this in, decide where I want it to be. These as well. See if we can get this kind of even. Well, it's being kind of difficult. I guess that vertex is underneath something. Doesn't look like it, but it wouldn't select. So anyway, just going to bring this in as well. Maybe bring it back out a little bit. Something like that. Doesn't have to be too perfect. And then just choose a vertex and L select that piece. Shift D, duplicate it, bring it down like so. Make sure that it's in far enough, because that does slope down a little bit. Shift D, and let's make one more. Try to get them evenly spaced somewhat. And then I'm just going to choose L select on this one and this one. And just move them up a little bit. Get them centered. And that looks a little bit better, I think. Almost like a normal car, sort of. Okay, so now we need to deal with the underneath of this vehicle. And I think instead of using this existing geometry, because this is all subsurfed, and instead of creating tons more of geometry, because I'm already at 132,000 faces, which is quite high, and I think the tires are a big fault of that. But I'm just going to make some mock covering here for the bottom. So the way I'm going to do this is just do a Shift A, and I'm going to mesh, add a plane, and just going to bring this up like so. And let's go ahead and mirror this. Control R right there. And I'm just going to delete those vertices. tab into object mode, control up arrow, add modifier, add the mirror modifier, and it is mirrored for us. Go ahead and turn on clipping. And I'll start at the front here. Control up arrow, bring this down a little bit, tab into edit mode, grab these two verts, and come back a little bit. Let's see where this is at. Okay, so I'm just going to extrude, come forward, bring this up a little bit, give the idea of an engine that's there. Before I go any further, let's bring this out a little bit. Okay, extrude, just bring it over, extrude over and down. To about right there, extrude, bring it over, and go ahead and take these, extrude, and just bring that out. Something like that. Don't want to go too far because it's going to end up poking through the frame. And we can just pull this along the bottom of the car here. And I'm leaving a little bit of room underneath, so, you know, like if you wanted to put a muffler and some exhaust pipes or something. I think I'll probably put some exhaust pipes coming out the back, but that's about it as far as the underneath. Extrude forward a little bit, maybe bring it up, extrude, and just extruding, and as you can see, just moving this stuff somewhat. Extrude and bring it back towards the back, and then take this and extrude it outward a little bit. Grab that one and bring it back. So you have something like that, a rudimentary bottom for your car. One thing that I would probably do additionally here, if I can get away with it, grab these verts here and extrude and just bring them down, just to give this a little bit of cover on the inside. Bring them down as far as you can get away with without going through the hood. And go to edges, choose these two edges, F to make a face there. Take this edge and extrude, and let's see, just G, see if we can get it pretty close. Something like that. And we can just take these two vertices here and Alt and merge them at center. Okay, so giving us some cover there. Do the same thing on this one. Extrude. And really, I could probably have extruded these as well. We do the edges. extrude, and just bring it straight down. Alt-M at last. And then just kind of take a look at it and make sure there's nothing sticking out of the car or looks weird or whatever. Okay, and that will allow a little bit better of a render when you go to render your car. You won't see this, you know, the light shining completely through. I'm going to do a Control-S quick save. And let's see if we can create some quick side mirrors. Not there, but right here. Okay, Shift A, just going to make a cube. Go to Control up arrow, and let's turn off clipping for a second. And this may be where I screwed up with the front grille, I don't know. But just going to bring the cube out, turn clipping back on. Okay, so let's see if we can create some sort of side view mirror. Control up arrow. Bring this, just going to bring it into the general area, scale it down to about the size you think a rear view mirror would be, and probably, yeah, probably about right there. Where it's going to be mounted. It'll come out and mount to this area right here. Okay, so SX, just going to scale it like so. And now I'm just going to bring the whole thing out this way so it'll be out of the way of this geometry so I can work on it. And I'm going to B-box select these verts, just bring this back a little bit like so. And maybe even grab these and bring them up a little bit. And just thinking of the basic form of a rear view mirror. Maybe not this tall. Bring that up a little bit. Go ahead and B-box select all this, W, choose shade smooth. Okay, and we need it to attach to the side of the car, so I'm going to choose Control R, create an edge loop, and make it like right here, so I have this little square area. And E extrude. Ooh, what did I do? Don't know. Okay, so E extrude out a little bit, E extrude some more. R rotate, move it out a little bit. Actually, let's do this. Move it out a little bit like so. Choose both of these, E extrude. Or rotate a little bit, move it out, E extrude. I didn't really have to do it that way, but anyway. Not sure I want it to be that thick either. Probably should have put a edge loop in the middle and just grabbed part of that. But anyway, that's a quick side view mirror. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time putting this stuff in here. Okay, let's make a little bit of a base for this. E extrude, scale, bit, extrude. Okay. Probably way too big of a base. Yeah, base is way too big for me. If you're wondering what the heck I'm doing, I have no clue. Just trying to get this base a little bit smaller than what it was. Okay, and I'll select that. Oh, that looks bad. Terrible, terrible. Of course, when you're trying to do stuff in a hurry, that's what you get. But anyway. Okay, so there's our side view. Let's fix it up a little bit here. Control R. Shore that up a little bit, and then Control R. Shore this one up a lot. And then choose Face Select. Choose these areas here. E-extrude. Scale inward, E-extrude, scale inward like this, E-extrude again, scale inward, and one more time, E-extrude, give it some sharp definition, just bring it back a little bit, and there you have your mirror, side view mirror on both sides. Yeah, probably a little bit big. One thing I would probably do, vertex select all these, SZ, sharpen it up a little bit, and definitely needs to be pulled in closer to the car, which is not hard, just need to move the base and all that. But anyway, there's some side mirrors. Control S quick save. Alright, and then very quickly let's do some tailpipes. I'm going to create these using curves, and I'll show you how to use your curves to bring it back into the geometry. So I'm going to go to curve, choose Bezier curve, let's bring it up here so we can see it. RZ 180, oh not 180, what am I doing? RZ 90. And let's go ahead and do a RY90 to get that little, what did I do? Oh, in this case I do need an RY180. Oh, I'm tired. Okay, so bring this down. somewhat near where the muffler is going to be. And then control up arrow. Once you create a curve, you'll have this curve option in your properties here. So I'm going to change the field type to full. And let me zoom in on this so you can see what's happening. So when you change that, you don't see anything right off, but come down here to the bevel depth and start bumping that up. You can see you're starting to make a pipe of sorts. Then if you up the resolution, then you'll see that it becomes round. So that's a very cool way to make a tube. And so now I can go back into, let's see, I was going to make this, change it to regular geometry and then let the body's mirror take care of it, but I think I'll just leave it here and I'll just add a mirror modifier to it right here. And I'll change the mirror object to our empty mirror, and that'll make it a little bit easier. So control up arrow. So now we can go back and tab into edit mode and we can start moving our curves around a little bit. I'm going to do a control 7 on the numpad to get into bottom view. And just going to move this up and take this one. I'm just going to move this back. And if you want to, you can do an E extrude. Just bring this back like so. E extrude. And give the illusion that, you know, you have this these muffler pipes running back somewhere. Of course, you would have an actual muffler in between them somewhere, but and maybe a catalytic converter and things like that. So now let's see if we can adjust these bizarre pipes here. Or rotate. I like working with curves. There's just something about it's really fun to do for me. I don't know about you. It's very easy to mold them and do cool things with them. Okay, let's see. Weird looking mufflers or exhaust pipes. They need to be coming out almost straight, huh? And then maybe pointed actually down a little bit so you're not smogging up the upper air. Somebody standing there. And then these need to come down because they're being seen too easily from the back of the car. And if we look 3 side view, we can see there is something there, but you don't want to be able to see them too well. And those are pretty small pipes. So go back into our curve menu here. And bring up the depth. Make these things huge. Of course, you don't want them sticking through the body of your car either. And they don't really need to be sticking out too far. I don't know, something like that. That's probably too far, too big anyway, but so now that I've resized the size of these pipes, they're pretty big. I'm just going to bring these back up a little bit. And, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Control S quick save. And something that I noticed that I forgot is the tail lights. So control up arrow, tab in edit mode here. Let's see if we can square up this light housing a little bit. Okay, and I'm just going to make some rudimentary tail lights. Shift A, create a cylinder. Go into my T menu, turn this to nothing for the cap fill. 16 is fine. And control up arrow, turn clipping off, bring this out, turn clipping back on. Control up arrow, bring this back, RX90, rotate along the 90 or along the X 90 degrees. And start making a tail light. So I'm just going to alt select here while in vertex select mode. E-extrude, scale this down, E-extrude, scale it inward, E-extrude, scale it down, E-extrude, scale it out, E-extrude, scale it inward, E-extrude, scale it inward, E-extrude, scale it down a little bit, E-extrude, scale it out, and E-extrude, scale it, and then bring it out a little bit, E-extrude, S to scale, and Alt-M to merge at center. And let's L select all of this, W, special menu, and choose Shade Smooth. Okay, and then looking at our mirror, we can see if there's any spots that we want to be sharper. And do Control R. I want this to be sharper right there. Control R, this as well, a little bit. And inside this groove here as well. Kind of hard to get inside there, but that's where I want it. Okay. And I think that's good enough. I'll select it, Control 1 for the rear view, and we'll start moving it into place. S to scale down. Unless you really want tail lights, you want to really let somebody know that you're stopping. And scale it in there. And then bring it in. Something like that. And then what I would like to do, I think, is Control R, put an edge loop right there. And I want to make sure that it's sticking out enough here. And then just GG, and then move it in there a little bit so you have this kind of a lip right there. And Shift Alt select these as well. And just to do an E extrude and S to scale outward, just slightly E extrude and S to scale outward. E extrude and S to scale outward just a little bit. And maybe even S, Y, scale inward like that, E extrude, scale outward. Yeah, I didn't need that last extrude. Don't like it. Okay, unfortunately this is dipping down into where I don't want it to dip down into. I'll select the whole thing, scale it down. Taillights are getting pretty small here. Okay, and then Control 1, Shift D to duplicate, and bring it over. So, alright, yeah, pretty small tail lights, but I think what I would like to do with this is make them larger, but then make the housing kind of beveled, sort of like the old style tail lights on old cars. But, and I may do that later, but I'm just going to leave this as it is for now. And then this needs to be sharpened up a little bit. And I think that's okay. And it looks like this is inset way too much also. You need to be able to see tail lights from the very rear of the car. So probably the easiest thing to do is L select these, Shift H, or not Shift H, just H to hide those. Choose F face. Yeah, I'll just select the back faces here. And just pull them out. Something like that. Alt H. And look at that, they're still selected. Amazing. And just pull those out a little bit. Put them in place. Alright, so I'm going to leave those as they are now. So that is it for the details of the car. We did quite a bit. And in the next video, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a rudimentary interior, because I want to make it so that we can do renders, at least from a distance. You won't be able to do any, real close-up renders of the interior or anything, unless you want to, spend time and model that, so you can have a nice interior. But I just want to do mine for distance shots. So that's what we'll do in the next video. So thanks for watching so far, and I'll catch you in the next video.